Washington quarters aren't always just 25 cents. Coins from 1986, 1968, and 1996 can sell for big money. Collectors pay top dollar for rare mistakes and high-grade examples. So don't overlook these quarters. The 1986 Washington quarter dollar is one of those coins that most people would pass over without a second thought, dropping it into a vending machine or tossing it in with their change at the end of the day. To the casual observer, it's just another 25-cent piece. But for coin collectors and numismatists, the 1986 quarter represents something far more fascinating. Beneath its seemingly ordinary surface lies a world of minting details, rare varieties, and historical context that can transform this common coin into one worth an astonishing amount of money. Some examples of the 1986 Washington quarter have been known to sell for prices ranging from $50,000 to $120,000, showing how valuable a simple piece of pocket change can become under the right circumstances. Let's begin with the basics. The Washington quarter was first issued in 1932 to commemorate the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth. Designed by John Flanagan, the obverse features a left-facing bust of Washington, with the word Liberty across the top and the national motto "In God We Trust" positioned to the left of Washington's neck. The date appears below. On the reverse, you'll find a heraldic eagle with outstretched wings, perched on a bundle of arrows with olive branches below, symbolizing America's balance of strength and peace. This design became one of the most recognizable in U.S. coinage, remaining in circulation for nearly 7 decades before being replaced by the 50-state quarters program in 1999. By 1986, the Washington quarter had already been in use for over 50 years, and it was still a central part of everyday transactions. That year, quarters were minted at both the Philadelphia and Denver mints for circulation, and at the San Francisco Mint for collectors in proof sets. The Philadelphia quarters carry no mint mark, while the Denver quarters feature a small D under the wreath on the obverse, and San Francisco proof coins show an S. At first glance, these mint marks might seem like minor details, but they play a big role in determining a coin's collectability and value. Most of the quarters minted in 1986 went on to circulate heavily. By now, many are worn, scratched, and dulled from decades of use. But for collectors, the gems are those rare examples that survived in pristine condition, untouched by circulation. When a coin is preserved with its original luster, sharp strike, and minimal marks, grading companies like PCGS and NGC may assign it an ultra-high grade such as MS66, MS67, or even higher. These top-graded examples are where values climb dramatically, in some cases reaching that jaw-dropping range of $50,000 to $120,000. Adding to the intrigue are minting varieties and errors. The 1980s were a period when quality control at the U.S. Mint was not always perfect, and that means certain coins slipped through the presses with unusual flaws. Collectors actively search for double die varieties, where the design elements appear doubled due to slight shifts during the die creation process. For the 1986 quarter, doubling can sometimes be found in inscriptions like "Liberty" or "In God We Trust," and these examples instantly become more desirable. There are also off-center strikes, broad strikes, and clipped planchets, each representing a unique mistake that collectors value for its rarity. One of the reasons the 1986 quarter holds such allure is its position in the Washington series timeline. By then, the coins were being struck in a copper-nickel-clad composition, a change that had been made in 1965, when the mint ended the production of 90% silver quarters. While the clad composition made coins more affordable to produce, it also meant they lacked the precious metal value that earlier quarters carried. As a result, the appeal of coins from 1986 lies not in their metal content, but in their condition, scarcity of varieties, and desirability to collectors. The San Francisco Mint's proof coins from 1986 also deserve attention. These coins were specially struck with polished dies and planchets to create mirror-like surfaces and frosted details. While millions of proof sets were sold to collectors, only the finest, highest-graded examples achieve substantial value. A 1986 S-proof quarter graded PR70 Deep Cameo, the absolute pinnacle of condition, can command a premium far exceeding its initial cost. It's another example of how the smallest details, tiny imperfections visible only under magnification, can be the difference between a coin worth a few dollars and one worth thousands. But what pushes the 1986 quarter into the extraordinary realm of $50,000 to $120,000 is the combination of rarity, demand, and flawless preservation. Auction records show that collectors are willing to compete fiercely for the best of the best. And when one of these rare high-grade or error varieties comes to market, bidding wars drive prices to levels that seem almost unbelievable for a coin with a face value of just 25 cents. For collectors who have dedicated years to assembling complete sets of Washington quarters, finding and owning one of these top-tier 1986 examples represents both a personal triumph and a highly prized investment. The journey of the 1986 quarter is also a reflection of the broader coin collecting world. It demonstrates how something ordinary can become extraordinary through historical context and careful preservation. Coins are more than just currency. They are miniature works of art, historical documents, and in some cases, hidden treasures. The 1986 Washington quarter proves that even modern issues, often overlooked, can carry immense value. Collectors often tell stories of discovering valuable coins in the most unexpected places. A roll of quarters from the bank might reveal a sharp, uncirculated 1986 coin with remarkable eye appeal. A box of old change passed down from a relative could contain a rare minting error. And for those who know what to look for, details like doubling in the inscriptions, off-center strikes, or coins with exceptionally brilliant luster, the rewards can be significant. It's these discoveries that fuel the passion of the hobby and keep collectors searching, always hopeful that the next coin they examine will be the hidden gem. The Washington Quarter Series holds a special place in American coinage, and the 1986 issue stands as a reminder that rarity isn't always about age. A coin from just a few decades ago can be just as valuable, if not more so, than one minted a century earlier, depending on its condition and uniqueness. That's part of what makes the hobby so exciting. You never know which coins will turn out to be the stars. For anyone holding on to a 1986 quarter today, it's worth taking a closer look. Check for sharpness of detail, brilliance of luster, and any unusual characteristics that might set it apart. If you believe your coin could be exceptional, having it graded by a reputable third-party service can reveal its true potential and, in some cases, transform it from spare change into a life-changing discovery. The allure of the 1986 quarter is not just about money, though the potential value of $50,000 to $120,000 certainly captures attention. It's also about the story behind the coin, the history it represents, and the possibility that extraordinary treasures exist in the most ordinary places. The Washington quarter has been a familiar part of American life for generations, and coins like the 1986 remind us that even everyday items can carry immense hidden worth. So, the next time you come across a 1986 quarter in your change, pause before spending it. Look closely at its condition, study its details, and consider what might make it unique. Because hidden among the billions of coins struck that year are the rare and exceptional ones that turn a 25-cent piece into something worth tens of thousands of dollars. And who knows, yours just might be one of them. The 1968 Washington quarter dollar is a coin that many people overlook, passing it along in change or storing it in jars without ever realizing its true potential. Yet hidden within this year's mintage lies one of the most fascinating stories in American coin collecting, one that continues to surprise collectors and casual finders alike. While the Washington quarter has been part of everyday life since 1932, some of the coins minted in 1968 have proven to be worth far more than their face value. In fact, certain examples have sold for staggering amounts ranging from $64,000 to $135,000. That's the kind of leap that can transform a single quarter into a life-changing discovery. To understand why the 1968 quarter has become so iconic, you have to go back to its history. By the mid-1960s, the United States Mint was undergoing one of the most important transitions in modern coinage. Silver, once the standard metal used for dimes, quarters, and half dollars, was being phased out due to rising silver prices and the costs of production. In 1965, the Mint officially switched to a copper-nickel clad composition for these denominations. This was a huge shift because it ended the era of circulating silver coins and introduced the clad coins we still use today. By 1968, the Mint was still adjusting to this relatively new process, and as with any change in minting techniques, errors and rare varieties began to emerge. The Washington quarter itself had been created to celebrate the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth in 1932. John Flanagan design of Washington on the obverse and the heraldic eagle on the reverse had become a staple in American coinage. But in 1968, after 3 years of striking coins without mint marks, the mint once again began adding the small identifying letters that indicated where a coin was produced. This means that the 1968 quarter was one of the first years after the reintroduction of mint marks, making it significant in the eyes of collectors. You can find examples from the Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco mints, but the rarest and most valuable ones are tied to unique minting errors and proof issues. One of the reasons the 1968 quarter attracts so much attention is the proof set coins produced at the San Francisco Mint. Proof coins are specially made for collectors, struck with polished dies on specially prepared planchets to produce a sharp, mirror-like finish. In 1968, the San Francisco Mint began adding the S mint mark to these proof coins, and some of them turned out to be extraordinary. High-grade proof quarters from this year, especially those with deep cameo contrast between frosted design elements and mirror fields, can bring incredible prices at auction. A flawless specimen can easily move into the tens of thousands, and when combined with error varieties, the value can climb into the $64,000 to $135,000 range. What truly captures the imagination are the errors and varieties from 1968. During this time, the Mint was working to refine the clad coinage process, and mistakes occasionally slipped through. Double dies, off-center strikes, and planchet errors are among the most dramatic. A double die can show doubling on Washington's portrait, the inscriptions, or even the eagle on the reverse, and these anomalies are highly sought after by collectors who know how rare they are. Off-center strikes, where the design is misaligned, create coins that are instantly recognizable as unusual, and in pristine condition they command massive premiums. These are the kinds of errors that have driven the value of some 1968 quarters into that incredible six-figure range. For collectors, the thrill lies in the details. The 1968 S-proof quarters with deep cameo are especially coveted. These coins, when graded at the highest levels such as PR69 or PR70, are considered masterpieces of modern minting. Only a handful exist in such flawless condition, and their rarity ensures they fetch extraordinary prices. On the other hand, circulation strike quarters with dramatic errors, especially those that survived in high-grade mint state, are just as fascinating. The idea that a coin meant for everyday commerce could carry a price tag of $64,000 to $135,000 is enough to make anyone check their pocket change a little more carefully. Auction stories make the tale of the 1968 quarter even more compelling. Collectors remember the excitement when one of these coins surfaced at a major auction, with bidding wars driving the final price into the six figures. The room fills with anticipation as numismatists recognize that they are in the presence of something extraordinary. When the hammer finally comes down, the realization sets in that a single 25-cent piece, one that could have been used to buy a soda or a phone call decades ago, has just changed hands for a sum most people would never associate with a quarter. These moments fuel the passion of the hobby and keep the legend of the 1968 quarter alive. Part of the coin's allure is its accessibility. Unlike coins from the 1700s or early 1800s that are nearly impossible to find outside of auctions, the 1968 quarter is modern enough that people can still encounter it in collections, proof sets, or even tucked away in old jars and drawers. This accessibility makes the story relatable. Anyone could have won without even realizing it, which adds an element of excitement and mystery. That sense of possibility keeps collectors searching, hoping to uncover a treasure hidden among ordinary change. Condition, of course, remains critical. A worn quarter from 1968 will rarely be worth more than face value, but one that has been preserved in pristine condition, free from scratches, wear, or discoloration, holds extraordinary potential. Collectors know that quality is king, and the coins that make it to the top auction prices are those that combine rarity, error, and condition into one perfect package. The 1968 Washington quarter is a reminder of why coin collecting captivates so many people. It tells the story of change at the U.S. Mint, of small errors creating big treasures, and of the thrill that comes with paying close attention to detail. For collectors, it represents the perfect blend of history, artistry, and mystery. And for the lucky individuals who discover one of these rarities, it can represent life-changing wealth. So the next time you see a Washington quarter from 1968, take the time to examine it closely. Look for the mint mark, study the details, And if it's a proof coin, pay attention to the cameo contrast. That small piece of change might just be more than it seems. Somewhere out there, hidden in a collection, a proof set, or even a forgotten drawer, could be one of those extraordinary coins worth between $64,000 and $135,000. And the only way to know for sure is to look closely and never underestimate the potential of even the most ordinary-seeming coin. The Washington quarter has been a staple of American coinage for generations, and when it comes to coins that blend history, design, and surprising value, the 1996 Washington quarter-dollar coin stands as one of those remarkable examples. To the untrained eye, it may look like just another piece of pocket change, something millions of people have used daily without a second thought. Yet within the world of coin collecting, the 1996 quarter has become known for certain rare errors, high-grade uncirculated examples, and unexpected varieties that have stunned collectors and investors alike. In fact, some of these coins have sold at auction for staggering amounts, with prices ranging from $46,000 to $110,000. That kind of value for a coin worth just 25 cents at face value is almost hard to believe, and it's exactly why stories about this coin have captured so much attention. The Washington quarter first appeared in 1932, designed by John Flanagan to commemorate the 200th birthday of George Washington. Its classic design has endured for decades, with Washington's profile on the obverse and the proud eagle on the reverse for most of its history. By 1996, the coin still carried that traditional look, as the state quarter program wouldn't begin until 1999. This means the 1996 quarter is one of the last to feature the classic eagle reverse before America's coinage underwent a major redesign. That alone gives it significance, marking it as part of the final chapter of an era in American numismatics. On the obverse, Washington's profile faces left, with the word liberty above, the motto "In God We Trust" on the left, and the date 1996 centered at the bottom. Just to the right, depending on the mint, you'll find the mint mark P, D, or S. The reverse displays the eagle with wings spread, perched on a bundle of arrows with olive branches below, symbolizing America's strength and peace. Surrounding the eagle are the words United States of America and quarter dollar, with the motto E pluribus unum above. Billions of these quarters were struck at the Philadelphia and Denver mints for circulation, while the San Francisco Mint struck both proof and silver proof versions for collectors. At first glance, it would seem nearly impossible for such a common coin to ever be worth more than face value. But this is where numismatics becomes fascinating, because rarity isn't always about how many were made. It's about the quality of the coin, unique errors, and unexpected characteristics that set a few examples apart from the billions of ordinary ones. One of the primary reasons the 1996 quarter has reached values of $46,000 to $110,000 is condition rarity. Coins that never enter circulation and are preserved in pristine state, known as mint state coins, are already desirable. But when a coin is graded by professional services at the very highest levels, such as MS-68 or MS-69, its scarcity skyrockets. There may be billions of 1,996 quarters in existence, but only a tiny handful qualify as the finest known examples, and those are the coins collectors are willing to spend tens of thousands of dollars to own. Auction records prove this point clearly. In cases where a 1996 quarter in nearly flawless condition comes up for sale, collectors battle fiercely to secure it. Bidding often starts strong and quickly escalates as determined buyers recognize the rarity of the opportunity. By the time the hammer falls, a coin that cost 25 cents to produce has achieved a hammer price in the tens of thousands. For the lucky owner, that's a life-changing discovery, and for the buyer, it's the satisfaction of knowing they own one of the very finest examples of a modern classic. Errors and varieties also play a huge role in the 1996 quarter's value. While minting technology had improved greatly by the 1990s, mistakes still happened. Some 1996 quarters are known to feature double die varieties, where inscriptions like Liberty or In God We Trust show doubling under magnification. Others display off-center strikes, where part of the design is missing due to misalignment during minting. There are even rare instances of wrong planchet strikes, where a quarter design was accidentally struck on a dime or foreign coin blank. These kinds of minting errors are not only fascinating but also highly collectible, and they can command prices that climb into the high five figures. One of the reasons collectors are drawn to coins like the 1996 quarter is the thrill of discovery. People often assume valuable coins are all from the 1800s or earlier, but the truth is that modern coins can also carry immense value when they fall into these rare categories. This means anyone holding onto pocket change, jars of coins, or mint rolls has a chance, however slim, of uncovering something extraordinary. The thought that a single 1996 quarter could turn out to be worth between $46,000 and $110,000 keeps collectors searching and keeps everyday people checking their change. Consider this: a family might have a jar of quarters collected over decades. In most cases, those coins are destined for vending machines or bank deposits. But hidden among them could be a pristine 1996 quarter that somehow avoided the scratches, wear, and handling that almost every other coin endures. If that coin were to be professionally graded and come back as one of the very finest known examples, it could suddenly transform from pocket change into a prize worth more than most people's annual salary. Stories like these circulate in the collecting community, inspiring more people to pay attention to the coins that pass through their hands every day. The 1996 Washington quarter is also important because it bridges two eras. It was one of the last years before the state quarter program revolutionized U.S. coin collecting, drawing millions of new enthusiasts into the hobby. For some collectors, this gives the 1996 coin added nostalgia and importance, as it represents the end of a long-standing design that had defined American quarters for over 60 years. Owning a flawless or rare example of that final phase becomes even more appealing, which is another factor that drives up its value. There's also the silver-proof version of the 1996 quarter, minted in San Francisco and sold directly to collectors. These coins, struck on 90% silver planchets with mirrored fields and frosted designs, are beautiful in their own right. While most sell for modest premiums, the highest-graded silver proofs with perfect surfaces can also achieve surprising prices. Collectors of proof coins value perfection above all else, and when a coin stands out as flawless under microscopic inspection, its desirability and price rises dramatically. Over time, the supply of high-grade 1996 quarters will only shrink. Coins already in circulation will continue to wear down, and even those kept in collections may develop spots, toning, or other issues. This makes the certified top-grade examples even more valuable as the years go by. For investors and collectors alike, the 1996 quarter represents not just a piece of American history, but also a smart acquisition with the potential for appreciation. The story of the 1996 Washington quarter dollar coin is a reminder that sometimes the most ordinary objects hold extraordinary secrets. Most people will never give a second thought to the change in their pockets, but for those who look closely, there's always the chance of discovering a hidden gem. And in this case, that hidden gem could be a single quarter worth anywhere from $46,000 to $110,000. So the next time you come across a 1996 quarter, take a moment to study it. Look for sharp details, unusual markings, or signs that it might be something more than just ordinary change. Because in the world of coin collecting, even a common quarter can surprise you, and sometimes the smallest discoveries turn into the biggest rewards.